This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Ping.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Welcome to Transformation with Tara Sutphen. Tara Sutphen is the author of Blame It on Your Past Lives and Soul Agreements. 3 audio CD series, metaphysical meditations, sourcing series, and sleep programming. Tara has also collaborated with Emmy Award-winning Shane Stanley and Marla Maples on numerous DVDs. Tara Sutphen is a master in the psychic sciences. If you'd like to find out more about Tara's work, upcoming seminars, and meditations to help you fulfill your dreams, visit her website at tarasutphen.com.
Welcome to Transformations with Tara. This is Tara Sutphen. And my guest today is Jason D. McKean. He is a producer and wizard. He is a professional tarot card reader and uses the Wizard Tarot deck. A reminder of the deep magical reservoir that reservoir of power within all of us that helps to shape our lives. Tara and Jason, today we will talk about creative visualization, past life regression, new seminars, metaphysics. I read this quote, and it's metaphysics is the branch of philosophy responsible for the study of existence. It is the foundation of a worldview. It encompasses everything that exists, as well as the nature of existence itself. It is whether the world is real or merely an illusion. It is a fundamental view of the world around us. And I thought that was a great topic for us today, Jason.
Good morning, Tara. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
Doing great. Doing great.
Yeah.
That is a really quite profound topic. The dealing with all of existence. All right. And whether life is but a dream or if it's real. What's your take? Do you think that life is an illusion, or do you think that it's a real experience?
Well, I think that gravity brings us into our soul becomes kind of stuck in our physical bodies. And so from that standpoint, that's a real thing because, we feel pain, we feel happiness, we feel love. We go forward in a successful way or a detrimental way. And so, it's always, like figuring that out, like what is our next best steps? So I would say that the overall illusion of the universe brings us into kind of a time sequence, which, they say that time is our real killer because none of us will get out of the time crunch. Mm-hmm. We are only here for a certain amount of time, whether we like it or not.
Sure.
So that's the real. That's maybe the reality. But it's the overall illusion, I think. So what's your take?
Well, within that word gravity, right, is that really fancy word gravitas. Mm-hmm. Which is the weight, right? The weight of things, of our actions, of our thoughts. It's the serious nature of what it is that we do, and how it affects others, and it's like the ripples in the pond that once we've thrown the rock into the calm pond, and then the ripples go out, right? These are our what's the word? What we're reaping, right, from our actions, our karma, our all these good things, right? But it's that weight, right? That seriousness that is it's what helps keep us present, right? It helps keep us grounded, like. As it's like our sister has been undergoing cancer treatment, right?
Yes.
And so, it's a reminder to not mess around, right? Not to put things off, to go and, help out, to be a part, to engage. All right. So that thing of time does not slip away from us, so that we don't, find ourselves in a moment where, perhaps someone has passed away. And it's like, oh my God, it's like, what did I do? I didn't take the moment when it was presented, so that that weight, that responsibility that's there, that feels very real,
Oh yes, that feels very real. And so many people, they carry that weight so heavily. Like, it's so heavy, all the worries and all the stress. And that's, where Jason and I come in for sure, of, let's lighten this, because that's part of the illusion, is that, you're only here for a certain time. We got to live it to a really grander way than sometimes what we, and grander is not, a richness of life is in all things. It's love. It's just what you're seeing. It's what, you touch, as far as fabrics or flowers, smelling flowers. I mean, anything, enjoying your food and blessing it. Everything should be an act of rippling out, that you were talking about effect.
And it is the quality of our experience. How do we enrich that? How do we make it a more, where we can be aware of our experience and aware of our part in it, so that we're not kind of stepping on our own our own soul, where we're diminishing our own self, by either saying, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be, or whatever. It's not getting in our own way for how we experience our own lives. And
right.
I think that that when we are aware of our part that we play in our life, that we can enhance that, we can work on that, and not worry so much about all of the other influences, right? It's like, if we worry about a meteor that's going to come and smack the earth there, I mean, this is out of our control, right?
Oh, so out. I mean, yeah, how are you going to control that? I mean, right. And there's so many other things that we complain about that are out of our control. I mean, that's like way out there. But
yes, right. That is like a more extreme version. But yes, like other people's actions, right? The people in our lives, right? It's like, we can be responsible for our actions, but someone else has their, I mean, it's within their realm to be responsible for their actions. And so if we carry someone else's journey, if we carry someone else's weight for their life, then it's like, it's like we're walking on a fine line, right, between that part of where we're possibly or potentially diminishing our own experience, our own life, our own quality of experience, because we're trying to live so many other people's lives, at the same time. I find that as a reader, right, it's like, one acts as a guide. One can be a voice of advice, of counsel, but I cannot step into someone else's life. I cannot make their decisions for them.
yes. Well, I have a story about that, kind of how, when people take on other people's energy, how it weighs them down. We're into metaphysics. I'm into metaphysics on a very deep degree. I had near-death experiences when I was a child, an infant and a child. And so I feel, I'm very connected with the other side. And one day, someone told me that they were carrying this woman's grief. Her father had died, and she was real close to her father, and he wanted her as a girlfriend. And so he was, we were sitting at a table at a restaurant. He was telling me that he wanted this woman, he was carrying all her grief, that he himself was doing it. Mm-hmm. And I don't believe in care as a facilitator and a really a helper of this sort of thing. I said, oh no, because this is what breaks us down, mm-hmm. is being a part of someone else's gravity. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, wait a minute. Can I just take your energy for a moment? Let me meditate for a moment, because I need to release you because you have such Sampaku eyes, and you're so laden down by gravity and by, you're going to get sick. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, I'm going to go and meditate. So in the restaurant, I go into meditation, just close my eyes. Hopefully, and I just said, keep the waiter away from me. And so I went in meditation, and I bumped up where I feel a sonic boom somebody's energy and spirit into another level. And I brought in the Egyptians healers. They're all dressed in white. And so they were working on this person. And then all of a sudden, I have an Egyptian pharaoh that loves to visit me. And he came in to, help fix this person too. And I was like, oh no, I don't feel that great about this person. So I don't know if you should be, because I don't know. He's so powerful that I didn't know what kind of, magic he was giving him. So he stood over his head, and he was blessing him. And then all of a sudden, if I could have, I was in the booth, and I was slammed into the booth. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And if I was standing up, I would have fallen over probably 10 feet, fallen on my back, because he all of a sudden it hit me so hard that there was a bubble in my stomach, and it came up my throat, and I released ectoplasm that was like smoke and came out in curls.
Wow.
Yeah. And my head was to the side. And so, this other person across from me could totally see it, and was like, oh my God, in the restaurant, like, oh my God. Yeah. So it was, but that's about, that's just a story of when you're carrying someone else's energy. And so, for a long time, I was helping facilitate his healing, but, that this is someone who I don't know if they really learned not to hold gravity, because the fear of things, you can't hold on to the fear of things. Right. It's not allowed in life. We have to let go of that, and all the upsets that other people do, that's kind of part of the learning experience, I think, here on Earth.
I would agree with that, as far as we all have that opportunity to let go of that which we are fearful of. I was doing a radio show yesterday. I was talking on my radio show, Wizard Talk. I was talking about the court cards, right? The royalty cards, the kings, queens, knights, and pages, and that aspect of when we know why we're here, right? And not everyone knows why they're here on the planet, but I think that you and I, have a pretty good idea of where it is that we need to be in life, as far as the vocations and all. It's like obviously, it's like you're of a counselor mindset. You're a teacher. You're there to help others, right? Yes. And I think that once we have this vision for ourselves, then, and as we're moving forward on it, yes, there are challenges along the way. There are situations that, can either bring on like fear, or and it's usually about, how to move forward in a way that, you're able to do the work, and if there's obstacles, right? Like getting past those obstacles, being able to sustain oneself, right? In it. And I think
Yes.
that is a major part of being on this path, this spiritual path, where one is can't help but be interested in the metaphysical aspects of life, right? It's like, that is like your journey for sure. It's like you've always been interested in what's behind the veil, right?
Yes.
What's an unseen power or whatever that is, like pulling the strings there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that what people, that certainly the people that we see, right? It's like they may have an idea of why it is that they're here, or they may have that idea of their own vision, but moving through the fear and not getting overwhelmed by it, not succumbing to it. That's part of the services that we provide, certainly.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, and it's just the, like you said, it's not holding on to the gravity, because, we could hold on to so many people's issues and upsets. And, I last week I was invited to come to my best friend's old house. I went in, and it's just an odd thing, me being invited to, my best friend's not there anymore, but I was invited to the house, but their son had just died. So, I knew why I was there. I was to go in to pray in the house.
Yeah.
So I went to the room, which the room had not been entered since the death. And so I'm in there to pray. Wow.
Did you feel any energy, if you can talk about it?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. That he was upset and angry, didn't want to let go, just felt it was a very fast. He had cancer, 4 months gone, very young, not even 20. Yeah. 19. So yeah, it was very, very tough. Yeah. As parents, absolutely devastated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought, wow, interesting to be called to the house. Like I'm friends with the house as well. It was almost like the house called me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the energy, but who knows, what spirits are around there. And since I'm so connected to the spirits of, my best friend, that, you think, well, that's why I'm invited over to, to relieve some of the pressure.
Right.
In this house.
Do you feel that, like you were going to be doing a house clearing there, or because it doesn't sound like
that.
In some ways, are they still holding on, are they keeping him grounded?
Well, they would be, yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, and so it's just to be relieved of that process. Right. Because the anger was from, his spirit, not just the parents, just their shock of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question too, because, part of that, the weight, right? It's like, right. Where does one direct their anger? Do they feel like, I'm sure the parents feel that,
very cheated.
They're mad, right? At the
universe,
at God, at whatever, right?
Disappointed, maybe. Yeah,
there's that frustration, right?
The anxiousness and frustration. Obviously, it's taken them on a new tact on their journey. And of course, to lose your child is the worst.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And do you feel that there is a constructive target or something that people can direct their anger towards to either convert it into something that is more understanding, or is it able to just see kind of the larger picture of it? Or
Well, it's all individual when you're talking to people, and how their spirit, suffers.
Right.
And, and this mother, I mean, she has other children, but of course never takes the place of the child you lose.
Sure.
And she's trying to understand kind of on a deeper level. She asked me to come back, if I'd come back soon. So, maybe I'll go in a few weeks and pray again there at the house. Just raise the energy.
Right.
Yeah. So she, so it's just, I don't know really what to do for her, because there's nothing you can do at this stage. I mean, it's just so new, and my advice wouldn't be anything. I mean, it's just really soothing the wounded.
Right. Yeah. I mean, sometimes parents will, create a foundation, or they'll take the memory of their child and they'll try to elevate that into some social activity, where they seek to comfort others, who are in a similar boat, other parents.
These are people who are very self-actualized that way, but I don't, I would say it's too soon for them. They can't even think yet.
Yeah. It's not always the right path for everyone, to do that. The people will figure it out, but it's important to go through the grieving process first. I mean, where you just, lay it all out there
and it's sad, because they created such a happy home. There's 4 children, and they're a happy bunch. Yeah. I mean, like the mother's involved with them, and they're all getting teenagers now, Yeah. Still love their parents. So, they're doing something right.
They're in that stage where the teenagers still love their parents. They're not like fighting them tooth and nail.
Not anymore. I think that a tragedy in the family, brings them together, but good.
Right.
I know that, I mean, there's all sorts of different tragedies, things that, bring people together. They either bring you together, they tear you apart. You either live up to being the best daughter or son, or you wife or husband, or, this is what you live up to be. Human being, you live up to being that. So if you can just put that within your psyche, that, just when things come up, you're just going to live up to a better self.
Is that a programming?
It is a programming. Yeah, it is a programming. Yeah, I'm all into programming the mind. Yeah, so it's 60 to 90 times. Got to listen to it, or you got to hear it. Just like when you were a child, words. So it's really good. So if you're telling yourself you're depressed, well, if you've said it 60 or 90 times, you're starting to believe it.
Right.
So, it's like, don't get on that boat.
Yeah. So with, rising up to be your best self, right? I mean, it does take awareness to kind of, know what that self is. How would people kind of tap into, even knowing what their best self is? Because I'm very attracted in the tarot to the magician card, right? And
making magic.
The maxim of the magician is as above, so below, right? Where one draws from divine guidance and enacts that on the earth, right? And what is that divine guidance? Is that something that is pertinent to the individual? because in some respects it can be, a religious thing, right? It can
Mm-hmm.
be a spiritual doctrine or whatever that people, that they relate to and they want to aspire to. And, and if someone doesn't quite have that training, or, if they just want to be a better person, right? It's like, how would you recommend that they discover those parts of themselves?
Well, we know that it's usually if you're doing things that are not in your best interests that you need to change your ways. Whether it's, it can be really simple things like how your health is acting and how you're eating, how argumentative you are if you're not feeling well, or if you're not getting along with others. There's why. Now, not that there aren't shamanic signs where you should always turn away with people who are arguing with you just unnecessarily. Those type of things, are not, you don't need to live with that in your life. You don't need to, but you have to take self-responsibility. So with creating your own life and self-responsibility, I always use mind programming as the first step. I think that hypnosis and meditation is key. It calms you down. Meditation is a great way to calm you down. And that's anything from hypnosis or meditation CDs or MP3s or TM or, Oneness University. So something like that, to where you're starting to, meditate and get into your own, and not be in your own way. And there's a lot of different meditations. You can just pray, but I like to pray with your feet on the ground. I believe that about sourcing. I'm a big sorceress.
Sorceress?
Sorceress. Yeah, as you know, as the world knows, is that I believe that if you pray for real things, then real things in the illusion of the universe start to happen for you. So if you, and so you have to be clear on those. It's all about intention. That's what I do with really my, somebody was asking me yesterday, what is it? Can I come in underneath you as a student? Can you bump up my company? And I said, well, I can, but you have to be real clear. Like my clients who are really are doers and big movers and shakers in the world, they actually already have their plan pretty well, like their intention is set. So it's easy for me then to just hold the sacred space to help back them up to create these huge projects and these, and get them out of any trouble type of thing. Yeah. Cause, reading the minds of others and putting into action, if you say this or do this, and, this brings into balance certain things. So, they were asking, but the thing is you have to have those intentions. The intentions have to be set. Yeah. And so it's not like, you can't do wayward things like, you haven't had the training for something and then you want to be, you have to start at a step A, step B, step C, everybody doesn't get somewhere just by jumping into it. There's a lot of people who want to be a psychic. Well, you should study, there's a lot of studying to do. Jason knows.
Yeah. There's a gift, there's an inclination, right? It's like, I've been filled with music my whole life, right? And yet one has to bridge what is going on inside of one's head, right, into the outside world in a way that is relates to others. It's like through an instrument or whatever. Once you do that, but you have to study how to master the instrument, right? If it's a keyboard or a guitar or whatever, it's like you have to actually sit down and learn how to play it, right?
Yes.
So that you can bridge what is going on inside of you to the outside world there, and that's where you share it. That's where you do that. As a psychic, it's like you can have the intuition, right? But do you, just spout stuff off the top of your head to people, or do you learn how to craft a meaningful message there so that, one isn't, just taken aback, by what you've just, thrown at them, or if it's a way of looking for a constructive path forward for someone.
Right. Right. So, yeah, one of our dear friends who I've known for a very long time, she's opened a center in Moore Park, and so she's invited Jason and I to do different classes, whatever classes we'd like to do. So I know that we're going to start working there. And I work in Venice a lot, and at my friend Jeff's Mystic Journey store.
Do you have a class coming up?
I'm going to do one class next week, a psychic enrichment class on Tuesday night. I'll put it in for Tuesday night.
What does that pertain to? Psychic enrichment?
Different psychic modalities, and start to develop one's psychic ability. But so I'll allow one class because I'm leaving. I'm leaving for New Zealand and Australia, and that's going to be exciting. I'm going to do big seminars in New Zealand. One will be developing psychic ability at Mount Maunganui, which is a holy mountain of the Maori. And then I'll do some seminars out at the farm, which is north of Auckland, which is incredible. And there is places to stay there if anybody wants to come in from America. There is places to stay. And then we're going to do a lot of other stuff there. I'm there for almost 6 weeks. Wow. And we're 5 days in Australia, where I'm going to work with my friend Yununda Wiwiwati, who is a Aborigine shaman, and he is one of the most powerful shamans on the absolute earth. So, I mean, you can just be in his energy and your life will change. So I think that if anybody wants to come to that seminar, that is April 8th and 9th, and he is selling tickets out of his Byron Bay store called Planet Kori Boru. And then...
Do you know how that's spelled?
Well, it's probably easier to go to Jules, JULES Bonny, BONNY at iCloud.com and get the information. But that too, there's probably a few places at the horse ranch that we're going to be at. It's right outside Byron Bay. And then also staying in Byron Bay. And they're expecting a huge, huge music festival about a week later after our seminar. And so maybe everybody wants to stay for it's a blues festival, I think. That's
fantastic.
Coming in. Yeah, it's like 100,000 people that come in there all over the world. So it's a bit, and Byron Bay is like Lahaina of the 70s. It's incredible place. So, it'd be really fun. I'm really looking forward.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'd be really fun. Yeah.
Do you find that after 6 weeks, it's like your accent changes? Do you try to adopt like the New Zealand accent or?
No, because they like my American accent so much. So they're all about me and the American accent.
You're not.
Yeah, they're adorable.
You're not calling anyone mate. Hey, mate. Anything?
No, I don't know if they do that so much in New Zealand. Everybody thinks that New Zealand and Australia, because they're down there together in the southern hemisphere, are more tied. But in actuality, they're, it's 3 hours across the water to get to Australia. New Zealand's pretty, alone. And cause the next stop on the other side going, west is Argentina, or east rather, going to Argentina. So, no, they're really great. So I love New Zealand. It really is, the jewel of the earth. It really is. Very beautiful, sweet, wonderful people. Oh, wonderful. And in Australia too. I have a lot of Australian friends as well.
When you're doing the workshops there, will they be mostly in the psychic realm, or will you do past life regression, some of these other explorations with the participants?
Yeah, in Australia?
Or New Zealand?
Yeah, New Zealand. Oh yeah, lots of exploration. We're gonna do out at the farm. We're gonna do in this farm, it's like 300 and something acres on the ocean, and it's owned by this woman who has these incredible metaphysical gardens where you can meditate, and there's an amazing facilitation center on the property. It's beautiful. And so there's a couple places to stay if people want to stay there on the property, but it's incredible. And she owns a New Age bookstore in another town. She's awesome.
Fantastic. Yeah. I pulled a card while you were talking about your trip there.
Yes.
And it is the 9 of Cups, which is the wish card. So you get to make a wish there for yourself on this. And it's also, the card of being open to opportunity, of opening up, one's heart center and embracing others, welcoming them into your sphere of love and the spiritual sharing that will be going on. It's a beautiful card. It's one of the more beautiful cards, and it's a card of saying yes to life, where one is in an expansive state and one does not look to diminish themselves at all. It's about growing and experiencing new experiences, new people, and it coming from a heart-centered, place within.
Oh, I love that. Well, there's a lot of wishes fulfilled. I have found when I've worked down there, and I've worked since the mid-90s down there, and in Australia, especially in Sydney and Darling Harbour, for Graham Wilson, who used to do the Mind, Body, Spirit festivals, and I was, really headlined a lot down there. And so it was just really beautiful as far as all the women of the world, of that Southern Hemisphere world, Hong Kong, India, Singapore, would come into Sydney for these seminars, and New Zealand and a lot in Australia. But it was just, I met so many amazing people, and the women were just incredible. Yeah. And, but I've been around, incredible men as well, like Yununde Wiwiwadi. I mean, he is very, very, he's someone who's doing a lot of social work on the planet. He goes off and, does, social working in all their villages. So, he's very much forward thinker and somebody who's actually walking the walk. And, he owns that beautiful Aborigine, arts and crafts, which is one of the most beautiful stores I ever walked into. And I walked into it before I knew him and said, and then when he told me he owned it, it was like, well, that's one beautiful store. And, so it's, so it's really an honor and fun, but, and then so I have a good omen about, working in the Southern Hemisphere. When the first, time I ever worked in Sydney, I
Yes.
opened for the Australian press with doing a meditation with Tim Weeder,
Mm-hmm.
Tim Weeder is a flautist, and he has a lot of new age albums, and
Yes.
he was the flautist for the Eurythmics
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
also. So he's really awesome. So he played the flute on my meditations. It was fun.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's awesome to have Tim Weeder like accompany
Oh yeah.
your meditations there.
I know. So, and that was before everybody, took Periscope or filmed things, and it would have been great to have that.
Yeah. Right.
Mm,
Right.
yeah, they were just writing about it, the press. Yeah.
How
Mm,
quaint. Right. How
mhm.
different, technology has opened up the world. It's like if one goes on Periscope or YouTube or whatever, it's like just really, connects the world that much quicker.
Yeah. That I heard the other day, somebody was telling me that someone I know, is illiterate. They don't even know how to, they pretend to read and write, but they don't do anything.
Hmm. Hmm.
They're completely illiterate. And I was really shocked about this because, we live in such an information age. How could someone not do the internet,
Hmm. Right.
and do all the
Unless
social media?
they're just doing like the visual stuff, right? The videos and
No,
that.
they're just doing life. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
without being able to read and write.
No, you wouldn't even know what the video was about or how to get to the video. No, it was really interesting. I found that just astounding in this day and age.
Wow.
So important but the other thing is too, I think it makes a lot of people crazy, all this communication, because not everybody's a communicator. So many
Mm,
people have
mm.
closed down and won't talk, or it's just there's too many pretty girls to go after. There's too many guys, everybody's like in some kind of whirlwind. It's
Mm,
like, okay, back to mind programming, everybody. Let's
mm.
slow down a little bit and get some intentions going. Yeah.
I am all for that as far as, being able to kind of stop oneself and just kind of slow down when, if one is not, finding that they're actually connecting, right? It's like you may talk to 100 people, but that doesn't mean that you're connecting with someone. It just
Yeah.
means that everyone's kind of chattering on about this and that. And so being able to, uh, see what's working for yourself and say, you know what, I'm still alone, right? I just talked to, 20 people and I still feel, like I'm not connecting. And so what is it that I need to do? And part of it is, one needs to be okay with themselves, right? One needs to build that relationship with their self. And
Maybe to get real.
yeah, well, that's a huge part of it. I mean, part of what I was talking about yesterday too on my show
Mm-hmm.
was, a card that comes up, the page of wands comes up, and the wands represent spirit, our spirit. And the page is the communication, the message, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the messenger. And it's about being able to take the time, the necessary time, whether it's through meditation or a spiritual discipline or whatever, to connect with your core, your spiritual core, and, uh, have that open communication with, who it is that you are, what it is that you want for yourself, right? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
like when we start to extend that person out into the world and meet up with others, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
are they in alignment with what it is that we're looking, for ourselves for, or, are they going to take us off our thing and just kind of, run us over with their thing. And, will that be enriching for us, or will it just add to the whirlwind?
Mm-hmm.
Will it just throw us off, and, might be exciting, but it may just completely take us off course. And so it's important to, have a firm knowing, an inner knowing of who it is that we are, and be okay with that, especially in the presence of others and all, where we can assert ourselves, so that we're not just thrown willy-nilly there, and where we lose ourselves.
Yeah, well, that's been happening a lot with a lot of people. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, bring back your center. Yeah, and that meditation, feet on the ground, praying for real things, relaxing. Yeah.
How can people get the information as far as where you're at in New Zealand? And
Jules.Bonnie@iCloud.com, but Jules is JULES.Bonnie BONNY.com. And let me look real fast on.
So they can contact her then through the email?
Yeah, they can contact her through the email. And then let me get let me look up the phone number there in New Zealand. Yeah, because that's kind of an important thing to have as well. But it's a New Zealand phone number.
Is there a international calling code before?
Probably, or I'm not sure what it would be. But it's just a New Zealand number, so you might have to. But the number is 021-162-4445. And so if you're in New Zealand listening to this, you can call that and get, readings and all sorts of stuff.
What's the number again?
Offering. It's New Zealand 021-162-4445.
Nice.
Yeah. And so that, and then,
what about Australia?
Australia, they're handling in New Zealand the tickets for Australia as well. And also, the store, what is Planet Corroboree in Byron Bay, is also handling tickets. It's Planet, PLANETCORROBOREE in Byron Bay. And that's Ununda, his store. So it's really nice. Beautiful. Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
I think that there's probably a lot of bed and breakfast, a lot of Airbnb, since they're getting ready for that huge 100,000 people festival, there should be a lot of places to stay for a good deal.
Right.
So if anybody wants to get in, and it, because Byron Bay's quite small, but it's really incredible. It's so beautiful. Everybody will love it. Like I said, it's kind of like Lahaina of the 70s. There's just a vibe to it that's amazing. Yeah. And you fly into Brisbane. Everybody flies into Brisbane. I don't know if we're flying into Brisbane or Sydney. I forgot to look at our tickets to take us, but because it's in New South Wales, but it's really, you fly into Queensland, Queensland, because it's like maybe an hour and a half away from Brisbane South, Byron Bay. It's right at the top of New South Wales on the beach. Yeah. So yeah, it's, like I said, that's going to be, I can't wait to see him, just to see how my life goes forward. So if everybody wants to come, definitely do it. Yeah. It's going to be incredible. Last time Cheyenne became valedictorian of high school when she went.
And that was amazing within itself. It's like,
that was
ooh,
incredible. I know. I know. And her life just goes nothing but upward.
yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful to watch.
That's
It's beautiful. But she's like really jealous. She's not going on this trip, but she's working. So that happens. Happens to all of us. Some of us have to, forego that. And I'm working. So this is how, it's really fun to go off and experience this kind of work. It just is part of the really great magic that Jason and I both make. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Good.
Yeah, I have my normal kind of working there at the Green Man. If anyone wants readings, come by the Green Man store in North Hollywood, or call. It's the greenmanstore.com. Green Man Psychics is another website. And my website, Jason D. McKean, JasonDMcKean.com. What I have to do is it's already a new month, and I've been doing these Astro Tarot forecasts.
That's right. Oh my God, people are loving those, Jason. They are so are amazing.
A full day commitment to record,
yes.
and put them together and then upload and all. But I love doing them. I just have to. It's funny because as I get started, it's like maybe there'll be 5 minutes, and then as it progresses, by the time I get from Aquarius to like Libra or Scorpio, kind of down the road, it's like they're like 9 minutes long because I'm just like more in the flow of it. But
that's funny.
But I want the information to be concise, to be meaningful, to whoever is listening. And so, so those will be up probably in the next couple of days or so. That's my goal.
Great.
Anyway, but
I love those. And then are you going to do some stuff? Oh, well, you have Kathmandu that you work at too.
Yeah. On Wednesdays, I'm there.
Yes.
At Kathmandu, and there are parties here and there. That. There's a in towards I think the end of this month. There's a Lux Paws. It's a benefit there for little kittens. In Silver Lake at Muddy Paw Coffee Shop. There's about 10 psychics there reading all day, and all the benefit, all the proceeds go towards Lux Paws, and maybe there's another charity that's attached to it as well for dogs. So it's like cats and dogs getting along together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then are you going to do some stuff now at New Spirit as well?
Yeah. I'm kind of getting most of my teachings are for online, and so I have to just kind of put it in a physical form there. So it'll be a beginning tarot reading class.
Okay.
That's my
Is it what day are you what evening?
I would think a Thursday, like a Thursday evening.
Right.
That's my goal, and as it firms up, then I will post that on my website, JasonDMcKean.com. But thank you, Tara, for having me today.
Yeah, it was really great. Thank you for being on the show.
So,
always wonderful. Thank you. Blessings and love, everyone.
Thank you for sharing your time with Tara Sutphen. Find out more about Tara's work, upcoming seminars, and meditations to help you fulfill your dreams by visiting her website at tarasutphen.com.